Hey everybody, Jamie Kelly here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Season 3 of the Approximate Podcast. Be sure to join our Patreon for only $5 a month to see all of Season 3's episodes in full HD video. That's patreon.com/approximate podcast. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. And to everyone who's tuned in, we love you all. And now, on with the show. Kitty! Fucking stop it! God damn it. Fucking cat. Yeah, you. Oi. Scrapple. Stop it. Alright, cut. We're done. Fucking cat. God damn it. Hey. Leia, how you doing, sweetheart?
I can hear your cats wanting to come down already. They're sad.
They are. Yeah, we've learned our lesson, though. They've appeared on many episodes of the podcast, and they're always a chore.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put them away.
They're in timeout for now. It's all right.
They are.
I understand.
Always fucking with the wires. I always say, no cords for Kitty. You go away.
Aw.
The cords are their favorite thing.
Yeah.
They love them.
Yeah.
And then
To our detriment.
And then they get around the tripods and they try to bat each other around the tripods.
And of course they wouldn't be getting on them when they're just it's just sitting here, laying here.
At
They're
all.
like, nope,
Nope.
we're going to wait till y'all are using your shit.
Until it's active and then all of your bases.
We're starting a little bit later than usual. I'm thinking we're all kind of tired, aren't we?
I've got my nighttime coffee right here.
Yes, in quotes, nighttime coffee.
Nighttime coffee, but not too much because
Because we're driving, because coffee is,
coffee can impair
Coffee?
your driving if you have too
Caffeine
much.
can impair your driving skills.
Caffeine can impair your driving skills.
And to be honest, I don't really have good driving skills to begin with, so
Hey, join me with that one.
It's been, almost a year since we've seen each other.
yeah.
Almost a year. Maybe an
Except
industry
for-
party here and there.
Yeah.
Right.
In official work capacity, yeah, it's been almost a year.
Right. We met because we have a production team, for the industry, and we were put into contact with you through our good friend Dan Hogue.
Oh, love Dan.
Love Dan. To shoot some content for you. And Jesus, what an adventure those scenes
God.
were.
Oh man, the first one.
Yes, let's
Oh,
start there.
yes.
Let's start there because that is a very fun story.
That's a story to tell.
That first one, I was legit so embarrassed. I think it takes a certain kind of performer to perform with me, and that is a very professional and secure guy.
Right.
Otherwise your dick probably isn't going to work.
Yeah, just to give context to what you're saying, our first time working together, shooting some content for you, shooting some scenes for you, we kind of just gave a dude a chance.
I basically, because everyone is a content creator these days.
Right.
And so I got referred to this guy by another girl. She's like, "Oh, he's good. He's great." And then he was cool, no disrespect, he was cool, chill and everything,
He
but
seemed like a nice enough guy.
I think that he was not strong enough of a performer to shoot the kind of stuff that I do.
It was kind of scene poison. The overall deal was that he couldn't get his dick to work.
Legit.
Well, that's the thing. It's this is a professional porn set. If any of y'all have watched, if any of y'all are familiar with her, I'm sure you are. You can recognize this couch because that's exactly where it was.
Legit.
But yeah, it's a lot different than shooting amateur porn when you're on a regimented set that does certain stuff and scenes and takes holds and breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah, we weren't shooting cell phone footage.
Yeah.
We pulled out all the breaks. We had light and sound and every technical specifications to the max for a certain kind of scene, something that might wind up on a DVD, something that is meant to be on a website that is professionally that's the representation.
Legit. That's
And
what we do.
And we had a guy that just you give people a chance, People gave me a chance. People gave you a chance. People gave you a
absolutely.
chance. We gave a guy a chance. Turned out to be a dud. And
But we were able to work it into the scene, though.
We were.
we had to.
And
You were Johnny on the ball,
You
like
were.
trying to like get it to work into the narrative.
man, I was doing my best. Like I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm like, after so long, you trying to like
It's pushing limp noodle, pushing
yeah,
spaghetti dick over there.
It's just like, look, either you need to like take your pill or like do your little injection with the Trimex or something. If you're
Right.
not going to do that, then this isn't going to work.
The frustration on set that night was palpable.
Oh, yeah.
Like you could
Was.
cut the tension with a knife because you could see the moment he started failing, like that energy dropped in the room, and the more it dropped, the more he was unable to perform, and
I've
it was-
noticed more often than not when guys aren't, haven't been on professional porn set and they don't shoot, where they do okay at is like the first part of the blowjob. And then like right after that, it starts just going downhill from there.
It's such a travesty. Like, I'm just like, damn.
And he was pulling like real rookie moves, which makes sense because
Yeah.
he was
Yes.
essentially a rookie.
Man
He was doing
blanket.
the man blanket thing.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, you've seen it in plenty of amateur porn, and you've seen it in people that just don't give a shit about that's more quantity over quality kind of porn. The dude that just lays on top of the model and just covers everything.
All you see
There's
is his back.
there's no good like way to shoot that, and
His
it's
back and his ass, unless you're into that,
I mean,
that's not what you're paying for.
for my audience, that's not what they're looking for.
That's not
I
what
know
they're
there's
looking
an
for.
audience for
Yeah.
that, but
And I know
Like-
where it comes from too. This is like any dudes or potential performers that are watching this, or anybody that's performing. You always got to keep the body open. You got to allow for space, and I know why they do that because they're confusing having comfortable sex with the gymnastics that is creating something that's worth looking at.
I feel like that's a huge difference between amateur content and just professional productions. Like the amateur content, I'm not saying all, but most of it is just like they're just hooking up and they're recording it. They're not really caring too much about the angles, about opening up or any story or anything. But professional productions, like, yeah, it's uncomfortable, sure. Like, yes, it's fun, but it's definitely not normal sex at all.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And you can't look at it like that because if you do, the scene's not going to work because you're not going to see anything. You might as well be shooting softcore at that point.
Right.
right.
I will say something like it. We were shooting for, when I say shooting, we were going after about the normal 25, 30 minutes worth of footage that it takes to narrow down after editing to a 20-minute scene. We couldn't even get 20 minutes of raw footage.
We got about maybe I think it was 5 minutes of blowjob, and then after that, it was just.
It was just a super struggle. So you found a way to kind of fix it. Explain what you...
I kind of did this thing where I was like, okay, we're going to pretend like it's casting couch. I honestly didn't think he would fail because I was referred to by someone that was like, oh, he's good. But then again, just because someone's good with one person doesn't mean that they're a good fit for another. So I was just like, make it a casting couch. And, like the former director for over at Dog Fart, Billy Watson, he told me years and years ago, he's like, you know what you should start doing? You should start just recording. And even if there are fails, you need to make it work. And I don't know why in that moment that popped in my head, but I was like, all right, let me listen to Billy from many, many years ago. I'm like, all right, well,
Memory Billy.
I think you need more practice. Try again later.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
all dialogue that was set,
Yeah.
which must have once the scene, because wasn't it a trade scene? Didn't he get the footage too?
Yeah.
So he has to live with that. He has to.
Yeah.
I
Maybe he cut
mean,
that part out. I don't know.
look.
Oh no, I remember editing it. No, I
Maybe he recut that part out. Cut that.
which would have left him with a 5-minute scene.
Yeah, right.
Like I feel like if you're gonna shoot with me, you need to know that you're solid because, I mean, I'm very, very blunt. If it's not working, it's not working. If it's working and you shoot a great scene, I'll be like, that's great, you're a great performer. But I'm not the kind of person that's gonna stroke someone's ego when it's not
Right.
even called for.
Now
Right.
you did your due diligence though. You gave him his chance. Like I remember when like that last part where he was man blanketing and trying to fuck your face, and you're like, I know you can do this. I know you can do it. You got it in you.
I do my best.
And
I'm a
then like 2 minutes
professional.
later, we were like, you know what? He went off to the side, and you went flipped over and said, you know what? I don't think you're ready for this.
I mean, there's like this is modern. Like we don't have fluffers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a myth. That's
yeah.
just everybody is watching. Fluffers are a myth. That doesn't happen because that's essentially like if there were a fluffer, I mean that's essentially prostitution. You know, to have somebody be paid to fluff outside of the camera, it's just a thing that doesn't happen. No, usually two performers, if they have like any kind of chemistry, if the vibe is right, they might like suggest, well, let's help each other out while the cameras are off.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
We can get hard, we can get lubricated.
even if
It doesn't have to happen.
even if there's like no chemistry, I just feel like that's part of
It's the
your
mechanics
your
that the
job
scene
that
requires.
you need to fake it till you make it, and this is what we're doing. Like I have no problem being a helpful co-star.
Yeah.
But up to a certain point, it's just like, okay, come on, look, dude, this is your job. Get it together. Most women in the industry aren't going to be like, oh, let me help you out. I'm just a very nice lady, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. So you gave a potential male performer a chance.
Yeah.
Sight unseen, just based off of a recommendation. And what wound up happening is that I hope, to this day, I hope he learned a lesson, but it was a lesson at your scene's expense,
Right? I feel like if you're going to shoot with me, you need to know that you're good and like you can do this. So you got to be super fucking confident because if you're not, I don't know. I've got a strong personality, so
Well, we got the next scene. We got Justice in here for you. and that was
We'll get
is
to that,
awesome.
but there kind of is a weird little punchline to this particular scene that we're talking about. It turns out, and bless his heart, he felt so bad that he wound up paying you.
If you want to pay me a kill fee, I'm not going to complain.
He essentially paid you a kill fee
yeah,
for a lackluster performance.
Yeah.
And I feel like
There's respect.
And nobody asked for that. He felt bad enough to where he was self-aware enough to understand the situation.
And that's like, I really appreciate it when guys are like that. Like they would like, you realize you're like, oh, okay, I basically wasted your time and her time and her time. And okay, sorry, let me like throw you a little something, as opposed to just like, oh, I'm just having an off day, and like you have it and it's all like like a gummy worm and you're like hitting it and, like
Limp
come
noodles.
on.
Can't do it.
can't do it. Like I'll
That's
do my best.
That's your job. That's your one thing as a male performer, to have that rock hard cock,
And have like
and the charisma and the performer.
and to
side.
be able to orchestrate your body.
Yeah.
To have that
Open up to
stamina.
the
The
camera.
stamina is not just the dick. It's
Yeah.
how you position your body, and you have to be in really strenuous positions to be able to, at 5, 6, maybe sometimes 10-minute chunks to like keep your legs in one place, keep your body in one place,
And that's not covering up the genitals.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely can't. Absolutely
can't.
can't.
Not in hardcore, maybe in softcore.
Always got to think about where your body is at in position to the camera.
Right.
That's the thing that I tell everyone. I'm like, look, like you're watching this and you think it's really how things are, but like you don't know how much has to go into it, and you're like, I can be looking like I'm enjoying the shit out of it, but I can also be like, oh wow, my hip is hurting, or like, okay, like
There's a lot of
there's
things
a lot of things.
that you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
power through,
Exactly.
because it is literally just a performance.
It
We're
is.
creating fantasy. This is not about
I tell you what, you'll know if you ever do it, you'll know as soon as you get into that reverse cowgirl or cowgirl and you start hitting that fucking 2 minute
my
mark. Those
it's
thighs.
it's a weird point of contention I have with like fans that hit me up in DMs. They're like, "Oh, I'd love to shoot with you. I'd love to do," and
Like I'm sure you would, but
I'm
can
sure you would.
Yeah.
But you give like 9 out of 10 fans the opportunity to like actually be on set. They'll never look at porn the same way again.
legit, like
You know, like, oh, this is what it is. Oh, it sucks. Oh, it's horrible.
it's not. I mean, it's a fun job, but it's still a job.
Yeah, you still got to be
Yeah.
professional.
And like when I tell anyone that's not in the industry about like stuff in the industry, they're like, "Wow," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry. Did I ruin porn for you?"
Well, that's the thing. And when I say, oh, it's hor-, I don't mean it in like a traumatizing way.
No.
I mean, it's like you have to compartmentalize. If you're an
Yes.
that's the thing. The difference between an entertainer and somebody that's in this business just to like live that fantasy. And then they realize there's a huge difference between the fantasy and the actual work. It is work.
Legit, it is work. Fun work most of the time when things work.
And
But
I find
it's-
much more enjoyment with the finished product once
Yeah.
all the hard work is done and you see the fruits of your labor and go, okay, now I see why it was worth it.
Yeah, like
We all did our job, you know. We weren't living the fantasy, we were making the fantasy, and now, oh wow,
Look.
after the fact,
we made
We
it.
did it. It's good.
It's like a painting. You gotta.
yeah,
It's gonna take some time, take some effort, but like afterwards, you could look back and you'd be like,
That means we actually did our job, because if it looked like we were having a hard time on the fucking screen, we wouldn't be doing our job and making the fantasy. You know, we want to make it look like it's real life.
agreed.
yeah, old dude was having a hard time and it showed, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
we had to salvage it.
Absolutely.
I say hard time in quotes.
You can't be pushing rope too hard, too long.
I mean,
And pulling rope doesn't look so good either.
Pushing
Oh,
and pulling
God,
rope.
no.
No, no, no.
no.
Yeah, like sucking a limp dick. That's not attractive.
it's
Yeah,
not.
let's
fun.
speak like industry stuff right here. People are on like they only have so much time
Mhm.
during production, right? And somebody can't get hard. So one of the tricks you can do is put the entire softness in your mouth, so it looks like you're choking on something that doesn't actually. And that's like all you can do. And then you can only move up and down like a couple centimeters, so you don't break the illusion
Yeah.
that they're super hard.
Just put your
in
hand
your
on the
mouth.
back of my head. Just put your.
But even still, it's even still. When people watch porn, they want to see a hard dick.
That's
Visceral.
you can't get away from that.
They
yeah.
don't want to be like, they don't want to see all the time it takes to like get it up or whatever. Just like they don't want to see all the time it takes to prepare for anal or whatever.
Oh my
like,
goodness, yeah.
Oh, do they not want to see that?
I mean, some do.
Yeah, well,
but,
yeah.
you
Well,
know,
that's a niche audience right
But-
there for sure.
for the most part, porn fans, they just want to see something pretty, something stimulating, and
Right.
call it a day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch from that
Pivot.
to what? Yeah, we're gonna do a little pivot, and then we had the next time we shot you. I believe it was the scene right after that. A few days later, maybe a couple weeks later. I'm not sure, but a good performer,
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Justice is awesome. just
Justice.
saying.
consummate professional,
Yeah.
He's
somebody that
proven.
knows what's up.
Yeah.
he definitely knows what's up, and like even just like as a person, him and his wife, I love them so much. They're so cute.
Penny told me that he's like the sex on set is his weak point as far as the industry goes. Like he's better at all the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh wow. Sex on set. He's
is strong, very strong.
It was exactly the kind of situation
It
we
should
had
be.
wanted during the
Yeah.
previous scene.
yes.
Right.
But you're not going to get because you have an amateur versus a consummate professional.
Right.
Yeah.
I fucked up, and this is, just one of my memories of the story to tell. On my end, and I'll take full responsibility for this, because the scene was going so well, and I felt that you were like really caught up in being able to perform. I didn't realize how loud of a
Oh,
performer.
yeah.
Okay, but this is not an indictment.
We
This
went
is
in the red a little bit.
I didn't realize because we're just in a weird, dumb little, neighborhood apartment,
Yeah,
right?
same place it took place. Yeah.
And the scene was going so well that you were able to super let go and just scream at the top of your lungs, which is awesome.
That's
If you're in the studio, we're in an apartment, and I gotta be honest, I was a little worried about the neighbors, but I was more concerned about the audio levels that I was recording because I wasn't expecting that kind of volume. And we started to go into the red, and the whole thing became super distorted, which is my fault. We did the best that we could in post to try to fix it.
Yeah, distortion
But it
is
taught me a
baked in.
lesson. It taught me a lesson to really pay attention to my gain staging, like for nerds that know what gain staging is. It really taught me a lesson about gain staging and to prepare for the unknown. But
So go to your area where you're going to have your action and go, ah!
I
scream.
mean, like, I know as a person in general, I'm pretty quiet, but you get me in my performance mode and I'm gonna go crazy. That's kind of what
Justice
I do.
was slinging fucking scream dick.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He's killing with that dick.
I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, Justice, singing your praises. I don't know if you're going to see this episode, but you're the man.
he better see it or I'm gonna yell at him.
If he's killing with that dick, she better sound like she's getting murdered. I mean,
It was
Shit.
overall, it was a great scene. I just wish I wish I'd done my part a little bit better on the audio because I could have cut. I could have cut and said, hey, let me fix the levels. But you guys were in such a state. I was like,
yeah,
if I cut right now, it might ruin the vibe.
the chemistry, the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Trajectory of the scene. Yeah.
That's also something that's like important when you're directing or filming a scene is to kind of know when to insert yourself and when to just let it flow.
Right.
Because there's a lot of directors out there that will interject themselves in like a wonderful moment, and it's like, is it worth sacrificing that footage?
Right.
Like a lot of times too, like there's guys, if they're in their head and they're having fun, and then there's a cut, oh, we need this and this. Sometimes it kind of interrupts the flow.
Yeah. I've been on so many sets where just one simple cut, the dick goes.
Legit.
And then bam, now there's another 20 or 30 minutes just for building up again. Just to get to that point. But
Legit.
this is the business. These are the hardships that we're talking about. All these unknown things.
Unknown. It's like people think it's not work. It's work.
It's fucking work.
It's fucking work.
Sex work is work.
Legit.
All right. So I want to ask, it's been a year since we've like met up, seen each other, in any official capacity. What are some things that you've been working on, like within this past year since we've seen each other? Maybe things that you're really proud of, or like some cool stories that you might have from other sets.
I've been working on becoming a better person and healing from the bullshit in my life.
I love this
That's
answer.
beautiful.
I love
Yeah.
this answer.
Like
Yeah.
that's like sure I have been shooting a lot of really ridiculousness because that's kind of what I do. But for the most part, I've just been trying to better myself as a person and try to get everything where it needs to be. And I'm very happy to say that like I finally feel like myself again.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Did you feel there was a point where you start to like feel like you were becoming disheveled because of your involvement in the industry?
I don't ever think it was the involvement in the industry. It was my involvement with a really not nice person.
Oh, I see.
And it's so weird that even this would happen today because like the eclipse is tomorrow too, and it's about like letting go and just evolving as a person. Well, I was with someone for like 4 or 5 years broke up with them almost 2 years ago. And I didn't realize until I woke up today and I was like, huh, like, I kind of feel like myself again. And I didn't realize how out of myself that I was for so many years until this morning. I was like, this is so weird. Like, I'm not complaining at all, but it's like if you get sucked into some bad bullshit, like with an awful person, it will literally eat away at you.
This is, I imagine, somebody that you're emotionally invested with.
Oh yeah, like I thought I was gonna marry this guy.
And that's the
Like,
worst. That's the worst pain. That will set you back for so long.
Trying to find that place that you were at before that shit fucked you up, right?
like I'm saying, like
Yeah.
it's been almost 2 years since I finally like got the strength to leave, but like I finally was like, you know what? No, I've got to block him everywhere. I can't.
Yeah, no happy.
Nothing. Like you don't deserve access to me at all, and I just feel really, really good about that decision because it's been kind of back and forth for a while. Not saying like in the past couple of years, but like before that, it's been like very back and forth. And he's just like, oh, I'm changed. I'm better. No, you are not. If you are changed, you're not going to show up to an award show and try to start shit with me, threatening me and my friend. Like, come on. Come on, dude. Like,
Sounds like bad news.
Really
Bad news.
messy.
Yeah.
bad news bears. And so I'm glad that I'm not only out of that physically, but now emotionally too.
Congratulations.
Well, yes.
Big
Thank
step.
you. Like, as of today, I feel like I'm completely emotionally done with that shit.
Great. Awesome.
That's I wish that for everybody to
Cheers
be
to
able
that.
to grow and learn from.
Not to corny things up, but
Yeah.
cheers for that. Like,
Cheers.
cheers for growing past the shit that fucked you up.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Or was that a cough?
It was
Cough.
a sneeze cough. I do them all.
sneeze cough.
I'm old enough to where I sneeze, cough, and fart all at the same time. Hey kids, it happens. You're gonna sneeze, fart, and cough all at the same time. Once you break 40.
Oh my god, you're terrifying me.
What do you just turned 22, right?
I turned 36 in March.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
36 was a very good age for me. I
So
remember.
I got 4 more years until I sneeze, fart, and cough at the same time. Like, that's terrifying.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's inevitable.
Oh, damn.
It's like taxes.
Death and sneeze, cough, fart. That's Benjamin Franklin said it himself. Yeah.
That's what Benjamin Franklin said.
I'm going to bring it back to a cheesy question
Okay.
because this is your first time on the podcast, and it's been so long since we've seen each other. And outside of business, we really haven't had a chance to like dive deep in each other, interpersonally. So I'm going to ask what is essentially a cheesy question,
Okay.
but I want to know personally, and I think, the watchers would gain some benefit from your answer.
Yes.
How do you start in the industry?
Well, I mean, I first started dabbling with the idea when I was 14 and I was watching the E! Channel and I saw Jenna Jameson. And so I went on AOL, like the little keyword. You remember that shit? Like, y'all remember that.
Yeah.
And I put it, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, she's so pretty. She looks like she's having so much fun. That's what I'm going to do when I grow up. And
You were thinking this at 14.
at 14. And anytime anyone asks me, what are you going to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to be? I said, I'm going to be a porn star. And I got in trouble for that sometimes. People thought I was kidding. I wasn't. I would have started when I was 18. Well, actually 19. I ended up pregnant. And stupidly getting married to the wrong person. That kind of put my career aspirations on halt. Like, I was a stripper at this time, but
Well, I was going to ask, what were you doing before you kind of tripped backwards into the industry?
well, I started like very when I very first started, like, I was doing cam, but this was before, like, there was audio and everything, so it was just video and typing,
Oh,
and I was just like,
chat
this is so boring. So I was like, let me go get up on that pole. So that's what I did, and ended up having my daughter, getting married, and divorced.
And this was all happening around like 1920s?
Of course, the 1920s.
Yeah.
No, it's the 1830s.
God damn.
In the 1830s. Back in my day.
Well, when was the pivot into actual, like, what we would generally call the industry?
Well, after he had cheated, my ex-husband, my daughter's father, had cheated on me so many times, giving me STDs so many freaking times. He gave me chlamydia like
Oh my
10, 15 times. I don't fucking know, but it was more of anything that I've ever gotten in this whole time in the industry. I was like, look, like, you treat me like shit. You don't take care of your kid. Fuck you. I'm gonna do what I want. So that's when, like, I kind of just left. I went to LA, and I was like, I'm not coming back home without some sort of a contract. So I'd signed to a really, I mean, I'm going to say that they're a very kind of dangerous
Agency?
agency. I don't know if they're around
This is what
anymore.
I'm thinking of.
But
You can name
yeah.
names here.
Oh,
Yeah, you
LA
can.
Direct.
Yeah, okay.
LA Direct.
Exactly what I thought it
Holy
was.
shit.
Yes.
Exactly what I thought it was. Yikes.
That was, I mean, I do very much appreciate them giving me that chance that I wanted.
Right.
It ended a lot better for me than it did others.
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to interject. The reason why I sounded so surprised when you said LA Direct is back in 2008, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was already like 2 years in the industry, and our relationship like required that both of us be in the industry, or else the relationship wouldn't work. She had a penchant for being, sexually active and adventurous, and I said, well, if I'm doing it, and this relationship is to work, maybe you want to investigate this. And she was super keen on it. And she said, well, what do we do? How do I get into it? I said, well, probably the smartest thing to do is to make it official and get you into an agency. And so where's the agencies? Well, they're all in LA.
Yep.
And after submitting, it didn't take long. She was, 20 years old, beautiful. She was easy for the grabbing, right? So we wound up going with LA Direct. And in like 2008, we went out there and she signed up and just started working right away. Just bop, 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 scenes and scenes and scenes. And we were living in Texas at the time. And I'll end this soon. But we wound up taking a lot of trips back and forth from Texas to LA. And she was getting so much work, but I did in my guts. I remember feeling this. This is like, almost 17 years ago. I remember feeling that something was off,
Yeah.
especially with the was it Ben English?
Derek, yeah.
Derek, yeah.
Yeah, Derek
Like-
Hayes, right?
Derek Hayes, yeah.
I feel like, you know what, he's done a lot of bullshit to people. He's done some bullshit to me, but I like to think that he has a lot of respect for me because of how I handled myself in the entire situation. Like I said, like, he's done a lot of horrible things to a lot of people. He's done some bullshit to me, but nothing anywhere near as bad as I'm hearing
That has happened to other people.
other people. That was back in 1820.
Right. right.
And he's dead now, right?
I remember there was like whole like trial and everything,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they're even still around. I'm just like,
From what I understand, the dude's been put in his place, and he's no longer a danger to folks.
that's good.
He's no longer in a position of power in the industry.
Right. So how long did you last with that agency? And did it peter out, or did you make a definitive move to get away from that agency?
I made a definitive move when after like maybe, I don't know, like 10 shoots, it was kind of being pushed on me to escort.
Yep, there's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Sending
like,
girls to privates. Yeah.
I mean, if
that.
that's what someone wants to do, that's fine,
Yeah.
but that's never been anything that I wanted to take part in. And I made that very clear. I'm like, I do not want to do anything private. I don't care how much it's paying. That's not what I got into this for. I got into this industry because I like to perform. Like, not because I just want to go, like, fuck on some random dude over here. Like, I mean, cool. I wish that I had that mental capacity and everything that I could do that, because I'd probably be rich as a motherfucker.
You know your boundaries, and
Yes.
somebody
Yeah.
was asking you to extend yourself beyond those boundaries.
Multiple times, which is not cool.
You saw which way the wind was blowing, and you're like, nah,
Yeah.
not for me. You got out. And so you never had, like, he didn't have the opportunity to put you under that kind of ordeal.
I mean, the worst that happened was it was like, you need to pay me $2,000 to get out of your contract. And my
Yeah.
dumbass did it. That was the worst of it. I went through a couple other agencies after that, but then I found OC Modeling, and they've been great. I've been with them for damn near the almost 13 years I've been in this industry.
Are you still with them?
I am.
Okay, so you are currently
Yes.
under an agency.
Yes, like Team OC all day, every day. Like, I love Sandra, I love Anthony, I love Eric. Like, everyone at OC has always been like really cool with me.
Huge shout out to OC.
Like,
Yeah,
shout
yeah.
out. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of
Shout out to
people.
OC Modeling.
A lot of people feel differently, from different experiences. But like, I just like they've been very good to me.
So since you've been with OC, has it just been strictly that's the industry, that's how you make your money, that's what you do, or
Oh, I mean, most of my money comes from my cuckolds.
meaning
Like
Submissives.
my submissives out there that worship me because I'm a princess.
and like what does that entail? Are you making videos for them? Are you
Sometimes they want videos. Most of the time, they just want to be told how disgusting they are and how they're not worthy of ever having pussy or anything like that. And how they need to be locked up in chastity. But yeah, that's a lot of it. Is they just like to be told about my adventures with real men, not the little sissy bitches. And they were just like, oh, I want you to castrate me and all that. I'm like, look, if it were legal, I would. If it were legal and safe, I would take you to a doctor and have your balls cut off. Like, if that's what you want, that's what you're paying for, I would love to do that. But, you know, like, it's kind of like you gotta, as a dom, you gotta kind of gauge, like, if this is something that's safe to do. Like, if it causes a little discomfort, that's cool. But if it causes a lot of discomfort and, like, permanent damage, ethically, that you can't do that.
That's where we get into the whole like hurt versus harm thing. Like, it's okay to hurt somebody, but don't harm somebody.
Exactly.
You always want them to be in better condition than when you found them.
Like, I'll happily discuss harm, whatever. Like, but when it comes down to it, I'm just not the kind of person that wants to cause permanent harm to someone that may just be thinking in the moment, or this may
Right.
just be something that they're into for a couple years, or
right? And you're cognizant of that, so
Yeah.
that's good. So you run an ethical, harmful business.
yes, I am ethically harmful. I guess.
That's a quote. We're pulling that.
ethically harmful.
But that seems like it. That's where your bread and butter is for the most
It
part.
is. It really is.
Do you have any kind of aspirations beyond that? Is there anything that you'd like want to do that isn't that? Maybe as a creative person or as a performer?
Within the industry, I think I'm always probably going to be having submissives, because
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so fun. But I would Well, I am working on my application for grad school so I can start next year. I'm going to go for clinical counseling because I would like to be able to be like a therapist and everything to other fellow sex workers to help them become their best self, because I know that there probably aren't many. If there are, I don't know of any of them that are sex workers or have been sex workers that are also licensed counselors to be able to be like, look, if this is what you want to continue doing, I'm not judging you, but I'm going to help you be your best self. If you want to get out of this, if you feel like this isn't for you, then I'm here for that too.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of times sex workers go and try to get help and they're like, oh, you need to get out of that. And it's like, that's not always the right answer for everyone at that moment.
But that's how I'm paying my bills. How do I get out of it?
Right. Those
Exactly.
cold turkey situations. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, once we're done with the podcast, I actually do have some recommendations of people that you can hit up that will help you on this particular journey.
Awesome.
Crystal,
Absolutely, Crystal. Yeah.
But we'll handle that once.
Crystal who?
Crystal
Crystal
Penn.
Penn.
Okay. Oh, I don't know the name.
We'll get you up
You
to
should
speed.
know her.
We'll get you up to
an
speed
industry
because it
angel.
sounds like the path that you want to go down. We have some resources and some people that it'd be very beneficial for you to know about and to talk to.
I'm always open to learning.
We need more folks like you.
I think I'm kind of one of a kind.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Good ways and bad ways.
More people that want to better the industry. And I think there are very many people who want to better the industry in their own way.
Make no mistakes, there are so many people in this industry that have good, big hearts.
Mhm.
A lot of them aren't in the same position you are, and you're being vocal about it, and you're like making the move to help. And there are folks that aren't quite in your position right now that still have good hearts, but they're so, concerned about making money and not stepping on toes and trying not to say the wrong
rock the
thing,
boat.
trying not to rock the boat.
Look, if you're going to get anywhere in life, you got to rock the boat.
Mhm.
You can't make everyone happy.
We're actually getting close to the end of the
Wow.
podcast, so I'm gonna make a hard left turn, and I'm gonna throw you into the fucking fire.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I ask you 3 pieces of advice that you'd give to up and comers. They could be anything. They could be matters of practical advice. It could be like fun stories. We don't do a lot of drama on this podcast, but it could be something kind of emotionally pertinent to you. What are 3 pieces of advice that you'd give to somebody that's up and coming in the industry from your perspective?
The number one thing is you really, really need to do your research and find out what it actually is versus what you think it is. You cannot just jump in uneducated because it's not going to end well. I mean, if you're someone that has aspirations of being a teacher or anything along those lines and you enter the industry, it doesn't matter if you're just on OnlyFans, you think it's behind a paywall. Nah, that shit's gonna get out there regardless. It doesn't matter if you have a big name, if you don't have any name, that shit's gonna get out there. Everyone's gonna fucking find out. So make sure that you are ready and prepared for the consequences that come with doing this job.
This is number 2.
You're not going to be able to maintain a healthy long-term relationship while being in this industry. It's very rare, especially even if it's 2 performers, 2 people in the industry, but if it's like someone that's not in the industry and someone that's in the industry,
Doesn't work out.
a lot of, I'm not going to say it never works
Yeah.
out, but
Of course. There's no definites, but yeah.
like you have to come to terms with you're kind of sacrificing the thought of, oh, I can have a healthy, happy relationship, a healthy, happy marriage, and I'm doing porn. Because somewhere along the line, it's going to interfere, whether you've done it before, you're still currently doing it, even if you're not doing it anymore. A lot of times, people bring it up and throw that shit in your face. and
Use
like
it against you.
exactly. And so you need to be prepared for that and be ready to be like, okay, well,
Inherit the stigma.
yeah,
Yeah, here's what I'm hearing for your number 2, and it's very pertinent advice, is the industry at large is kind of a lonely road. It's kind of a
very
lonely
much.
road, and if you're officially in the industry, um, you could find civilians or you can find folks to date within the industry. It's rough either way. You don't get to escape being human. You don't get to escape. And being in such a weird like way of making money like we find ourselves in, it's just an additional complication, and it kind of fucks you up on the civilian side. It kind of fucks you up on the, dating. Dating is just awful all around, and then you throw in that extra monkey wrench, and it's
Yeah.
tough. So you have to like maybe kind of check yourself out and say, well, how much does this need to be for me, and is it worth, trying to
Possibly
date?
sacrificing this or yeah.
Right. Because we all get lonely. At the end of the day, we're all human, and like, wanting to be with somebody and develop a relationship is a thing that no matter what job you're in is going to exist. It just becomes a lot more of a hassle when you're in this particular industry. So you got to tread lightly.
Very much so. Like I was saying, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's quite improbable.
Right.
It's just like it's a catch-22.
It really is. It becomes very messy.
Extremely.
So folks listening and watching, just, take that into account. Let me ask you for number 3.
Be prepared. It doesn't matter if you have a penis, if you have a vagina, if you have a butthole, a mouth, whatever it is you're using, you need to be prepared. Like, you cannot show up on set with a stinky vagina. Please don't do that. That's very unprofessional and very gross. Just look, if you're a vagina owner, like things happen, like infections happen. It's just part of life, especially when you're like doing this as work. So like take care of that shit before you get on set. If you're a fucking penis owner, make sure that you have like your pills or your whatever you need to inject in and
respect the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, respect all the contingencies and be like in the moment of this job that you're doing, because it's not just you. There's
everyone.
Everyone is involved by trying to make one piece of footage. You have to be your best self and take everybody else's time into account, which means the more prepared you are, the better you are as being a part of this little mechanism to create one scene.
Legit, like, because, I mean, what is Mike Quasar? He's always like, you guys always underestimate how much I just really want to go home. And it's like, look, I enjoy my job. I enjoy what I do, but I don't want to be on set for longer than necessary because someone wasn't prepared.
Right.
A good way to look at it is when you're going on set is how can I make this day as easy as possible for everybody involved?
Exactly.
Yeah. Put other people before you.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, shit's going to happen, especially if you're like playing in the butthole. Like,
Of course,
it can't always be perfect. But I mean, show up and make sure you've prepped and everything. So
Do your due diligence.
Absolutely. And God damn it, with that amazing advice. With that being said, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Leia. It's been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
And everybody look at the cameras and say goodbye to the audience.
That's yours right there.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
Which one? Which camera? There's like there's 27 of them. I can't.
Everybody
my
that's-
nails aren't done. Sorry.
Everybody that's been listening, everybody that's been watching, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Approximate Podcast. We love you all, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Approximate Podcast. Bye.
Bye.